clear that prime numbers are those numbers which are greater than 1 and whose only factors are 1 and the number itself. Is it clear? So it will be how to find factors of a number. Factors of a number. If a number is completely divisible by another number, then that number is called the factor, right? So suppose if you take an example, like if I am taking a number 9, tell me how many factors are there for 9. So for finding the factors of a particular number, we should be checking, or we should divide the number from the number 1 to that number. So how many numbers are there? We should be checking whether 9 is completely divisible by 1, whether 9 is completely divisible by 2, whether number is 9 is completely divisible by 4, 3, 4, and etc. up to 9. So we will be checking each number. So we will be taking 9, we will be dividing it by 1. We saw that it is completely divisible by 1. So 1 is a factor. We will divide 9 by 2. We will see it is not completely divisible. Decimal place we should not take, right? We should see whether it is completely divisible without any remainder. How to check whether it is completely divisible?
Remainder will be 0.
Remainder will be 0. That's it. So today, Pavan, or how many are absent?
I'm there.
Pavan is there, and your name will not be listed here. That's it. And Harsh is not there. Okay. Kritika, she left or what? What happened? So give attendance in the chat box once. So it will be easy for me. Now students are more. Otherwise, I'll always mark Kritika absent. Okay. So here you should see that any number, if it gives remainder as 0, then that number is completely, or that number is a factor. So here 2, when we divide, remainder is not 0. But when we divide 9, you listen here, when we divide 9 by 3, how many times 3 will go in 9? It will go 3 times, right?
3 times.
Yeah, so the remainder will be 0. So that means 3 is a factor of 9. When we try to divide with 4, it will be giving a remainder 1. So it is not a factor like that. We should be checking with each and every number until the number. So what will happen if I divide 9 by 9? How many times it will go? It will be going 1 time and the remainder will be 0. So you understood that when how to find a factor of a number, we have to find whether the number gives a remainder 0. So how to find remainder of a number? How to find the remainder of a number? What is that operator which we will use in order to find the remainder of a number? We have studied 2 operators. One is the mode operator. The other one is the division operator. Which among this will be giving you the remainder? Which among this will be giving you the quotient?
Division, ma'am. Division.
Division will be giving you what?
Remainder.
No, division will be giving you the quotient. Mode operator will be giving you remainder. You know, when we divide, there are 2 parts, right? Suppose I am dividing 9 by 3. You will be using how many times it will go? 3 times it will go, and you will be giving 3 into 3, it is 9. So the remainder we will be writing it down. So when you are using an operator called division operator, we will be getting the answer as 3. Got it? When we are using the operator called mode, then in the computer, I'm telling you, you will be getting the remainder as, or you will be getting the answer as 0. That means we will be getting remainder when we are using the mode operator. You will be getting the quotient when we are using the division operator. So it is just simple, like if you use, what are the 3 operands? I'm trying to, in this case, what are the 2 operands? We are using 9 and 3. The operator which I am using is mode operator, means I will be getting the remainder, which is 0. The same operation only I am doing, but I will be getting the answer as 0 if I am using the mode operator. If I am using the same operands and if I am using the division operator, then I will be getting what? I'll be getting the quotient. What is this part? quotient is written on top, right? Usually we will be dividing and writing the quotient on top. So when we use the division operator, you will be getting 3. When we use the mode operator, you will be getting 0. Understood now? Write down somewhere, because I'll be asking again and again. So what is the difference? One question in the university paper, no? That is, what is the difference between the mode operator and the division operator? I think I had given for this one also, no, for assignment. So those who newly joined, no, after listening to the videos and after attending the class, you should try writing the assignment also. So don't wait for, it will be good if you are listening during these weekends, and tell me when and which are the topics. You note down the topics which you are finding it difficult, and I'll explain it again. Okay. Otherwise, there is no point in explaining all the topic again and again. Anyway, you are seeing only through the videos, right? Even if I am explaining now. So unless the offline classes start, we can't help it. But if you want, I can explain some topics which you can write down which are the topics, and I'll explain again. So this difference you should understand, and we have written many programs using this mode and division operator. One example you execute in your observation book or in your CE notebook and keep it. So because this, when you divide, how to divide and which is quotient and which is remainder, you mark it and keep. I'm asking many times, even in BCA class, same thing happens. So when we, so now in this concept of prime numbers, we have to keep it in mind that if you take any number, if you take any number, you see in the series, if I take 2, any number, this number will be divisible by 2 numbers. Which are the 2 numbers? It will be divisible by 1 and it will be divisible by 2, right? So there are 2 factors for 2. If I take 3, what are the 2 factors? It will be divisible by 1 and it is divisible by 3. And if I take another number, suppose if I take 8, what are the factors of 8? You can, without even checking, we can tell that it is having 2 factors for sure, that is 1 and 8. And in between, what are the other numbers which can completely divide 8? 8 can be completely divided by 2, right? 8 divided by 2, remainder will be 0. So 2 is a factor of 8. And we know that 3 cannot divide. Can divide, but remainder will not be 0. But if 4. So we understood that apart from 1 and the same number, for some numbers, they will have other factors also, right? If you take 9 also, it will be like it is having, we know, without checking only, we know it is having 2 factors, 1 and 9, but 9 is completely divisible by 3 also, right? So we understood that even like if you take any number, no, like it will be having 2 common factors. That is, it is fixed that it will be having 2 factors. One will be 1, the other one will be the number itself. Understood? One will be 1, the other one will be the number itself. For 2 also 1 and 2. But for 3 it will be 1 and 3. Some numbers will be having factors other than 1 and the same number. Got it? Here it is 2 and 4, here it is 3. So we can make a conclusion from this that all numbers will be having a common thing, that is, it will be having minimum 2 factors. What are the 2 factors which is the minimum 2 factors? That is, it will be having 1 and 9. Is Meenakshi present today? Nowadays I am not hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, why you are silent? Okay, so
No, ma'am.
no, I otherwise used to tell some answers and all that. Okay, so you understood that when all numbers will be having 2 factors, that is 1 and the same number. And for some numbers, you saw that 2, 3 and all is not having. If you take 7 also, it is having only 2 factors, that is 1 and 7. So we are making a categorization that numbers which are having only 2 factors, only 2 factors, minimum, maximum, everything is 2 factors. Those numbers are known as prime numbers. And numbers which are having more than 2 factors are known as composite or non-prime numbers. We have to understand in this concept because we are going to implement the program in this way. Understood? So those numbers which are having factors more than 2 will be considered as, what are those numbers called? You might have studied in maths, that composite numbers. And those numbers which are having only minimum, maximum, everything is only 2. So those numbers are known as prime numbers. So I have listed out here. One thing you have to keep it in mind: one is neither a prime nor a composite number. So, for one, when we take this case, so we have kept a rule that for prime numbers, it should have 2 factors. It should not be greater than 2 factors, but it should have 2 factors. But when we take 1, what are the 2 factors? We don't have 2 factors, right? It is having only 1 factor. So we cannot make it as a prime number. And we know that it doesn't have any other number greater than any other factor. So we cannot make it as a composite number also. So this is like in midway. So we are telling 1 as neither a prime nor a composite number. But when we take these numbers, see the few prime numbers I have listed out here. If you take any number in this, if you take 29 also, you try dividing 29 by any of the numbers starting from 1, 2, 3 up to 28. You see, it will not be dividing 29. Only 2 numbers will be completely dividing, or the remainder, it will be giving you 0. What is that 2 numbers? One will be 1, the other one will be 29. So you, in this list, I can tell you that all numbers what are given over here, it's having only 2 factors. One will be 1, the other one will be the number itself. So what are the factors of 2? Because we know these are the prime numbers, I can tell you with confidence that it is having only 2 factors, 1 and 2. So only these 2 numbers will be giving me remainder 0. If I take 13, any number, if I take 13, 13 is having only 2 factors. One is 1, the other one is 13. Got it? It doesn't have any other factor. If I take 17 also, it is having only 2 factors. One is 1 and the other one is 17. Got it? So those numbers, you try divide any other number between 1 and 17. You will not find any number which can give the remainder as 0. For 19 also 1 and 19. For 23 also 1 and 23. 29 also, I just stopped up to 29, but there are many more prime numbers. And those, even if you take a bigger number also, you will find that there are only 2 factors for the prime numbers. So understood the concept, right? So you can surely say without even checking. You remember one word, without even checking, we can tell that prime numbers or any number, even if you take non-prime numbers also, it will be having 2 factors. One is 1, the other one is the number itself. If it is 2, it will be completely divisible by 2. Number itself means it will be divisible by 2 itself. 3 means it will be 1 and 3, right? 29 means 1 and 29. That's it. So when we write a program, we have to keep it in mind that we have to write a program which will be recurring, or which will be executing with a less amount of time. Got it? So our aim to find a prime number, when we write a algorithm for finding the prime numbers, we will be checking. We will be dividing. Suppose I entered a number 9. I will be, we cannot manually tell that 9 is not a prime number. We should be checking and finding the factors of the number entered. Algorithm should work for all numbers, right? If I entered 9, I should check all the factors of 9. If I entered some other number, I should check all the factors of that number. And we should check if that number is having factors more than 2, then that number is not prime. Got it? So if it is having only 2 factors, then it is a prime number. That is the only condition we have to check. So now you know that all numbers are having at least 2 factors, but non-prime numbers or composite numbers are having more than 2 factors. So what we will do is we will be doing a checking like If it is having, so if you want to reduce the time of division, we can just avoid dividing that number by 1 and the number itself. So how to avoid dividing that number by 1 and 9? If a number is accepted, you will say that the dividing number. So if I'm using a variable called I in order to divide that number, we'll be writing an algorithm using the variables, right? So to accept the number, we are using the variable called n, and to divide that number, we'll be using another variable called I. So I will be ranging its value from which all numbers. So if you want to divide the number from 1 to 9, what we will be using? I'll be using the variable called I, and each time in the loop, I'll be incrementing the value of I by 1. That is, 1, I will become 1 in the first iteration, then I'll become 2, then it will become 3, then it will become 4, until the value of I is 9. So in order to divide each time, we will be using the logic like n equal to so how to divide and see whether the remainder is 0? What will be the step if n is having the number, to divide the number by the values 1 to 9? What we will be using? We will be using the, in order to check whether it is having the remainder 0, we will be using the mode operator, right? So we will be using two variables. N will be having the number, I will be having the number with which the value has to be divided. Suppose n I entered 9, I value will be changing from 1 to up to what? Up to it will be 9. So each time in the first iteration, n value will be 9 and I value will be, what is I value? I value will be 1. Got it? In the next iteration, I will increase the I value to 2. So in the next mode operation, it will be doing, it is mode operation, okay, and mode 2. We will see whether the remainder is 0. In the next iteration, I will increment the value of I to 3. So it will become 9 mode 3. Okay, in the next iteration, I will increment the value of I to 4. So it will be like 9 mode 4. So this way, we will be checking whether 9 is completely divisible by 1, completely divisible by 2, like that. No, up to which number we will be checking. I value we will be incrementing each time, and we will be checking until the I value is 9, right? So in this case, how many times we will be getting the remainder as 0? How many times we will be getting the remainder? So 9 mode 1 will get a remainder as 0. But this one, no, remainder is not equal to 0. But 9 mode 3 will be getting remainder as 0. 9 mode 9 will be getting as remainder as 0. So 3 cases. One is 9 mode 1 we will get remainder 0. 9 mode 3 and 9 mode 9 we will be getting remainder 0. Understood? So like this, whatever number we enter, we will divide and see with all the numbers starting from 1 up to that number. And if we are getting, if the remainder or number of factors, if you are getting more than 2, then it is not a prime number. Understood? So if you want to still reduce the length of the code, we can just see, we can avoid dividing by 1 and avoid dividing by the same number. Then how to check whether it is a prime number? If you are, so prime numbers, no, will have only 2 factors. That itself, if I am avoiding, means then if that number is having at least 1 factor, then it is not a prime number. Apart from 1 and the same number, if that number is having a factor, apart from 1 and the same number, if that number is having a factor. So in this case, I am avoiding the division by 1 and avoiding the division by 9, but still 9 is having a factor called 3. That means 9 is a prime number. So in that way, we can reduce a little coding by avoiding, or one looping we can, 2 loopings we can reduce. So when I take 2, what will happen now? I'm not dividing or finding the mode with the 1, and I'm not finding the mode with the 2. So the number of factors for 2 will become 0 now, right? But when I'm checking 4. If I'm checking 4, what are the numbers with which I should divide and see for 4? I should be checking, actually, I should be checking from 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we know that anyway, 4 and all the numbers will be having 2 factors, and that is 1 and the same number. So I am avoiding division with the 2 numbers. That is, I'm not going to divide with the 1, and I'm not finding the mode with the 4 also. I'm using only 2 numbers. Those 2 numbers are like a 2 and 3. If I'm finding the mode with the 2, if I'm getting a remainder as 0, that means what? I got a factor of 4 other than 1 and 4, right? If I find a mode with the 2, what will happen? If I find a mode with the 2, I'll be getting the remainder as 0. That means 4 is having a factor other than 1 and 4. Which is that number? 2, right? So that means 4 is not a prime number. So this way we have to implement the program. So I have explained the algorithm now. So starting, we will just declare and initialize the variables. So n is the number which is used to accept the number, for which we have to check whether it is a prime or not. And we are using a variable called I, which will be iterating in each step in order to find the mode value. When we find a division or we will be to get the remainder part, no, we are using a variable, right? We will be dividing that number with a number, right? So I value is that number with which we are going to divide and find the remainder. So as I told, we will not start I with 1, we will start with the 2, because we know any number divided by 1, remainder will be 0. So why to check with that? All the numbers, no, it is completely divisible by 1, and 1 is a factor of all the numbers, 1 to any number, right? So we are not checking whether it is divisible by 1. And what will be the last value of I? Can anyone tell me? If n value is 10, what will be the last value with which we should check whether n is having a factor?
No, only, ma'am.
N is 10 means what will be the I value? Suppose if n is, just now I told, to find the factors, what are the values with which we have to divide 10? So first, in order to find the factors, we have to divide or find the remainder with the 10 by 1. Then it is 10 by 2. Like this we will be finding, right? So in order to divide or find the remainder, we are using a number which is keeping on incrementing in each step, right? 1, it will be 1, then it will be 2. Instead of that, we are using the variable called I. Got it? So if I'm checking whether 10 is a prime number, I should be checking until the I value is 10, right? So here first number will be 1 and the last number will be 10. If I'm going to check whether 9 is a prime number, I should divide 9 by 1, 9 by 2 to see whether the remainder is 0. 9 by 3, 4, 5, 6, and then up to which number I should be checking? 9 by 9. If the remainder is 0, by means I am just telling by because we are finding the, actually it is mode operator. Okay, division only will be giving you the remainder. You should think it as mode operator only. If I am if I am trying to find the factors of n, I should divide and or find the mode operator up to 9, ranging from 1 to 9. If the number is 23, with which all numbers I should divide and see the factors of 23. I should divide 23 by 1. I should divide 23 by 2, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up to 23 by 23. To find a factor, this you have studied in maths, to find factors of a particular number.
I have a doubt, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, it should be like if you gave an example, ma'am, as 10. So 10 by 10 should be 0. So here it is n is more than I. But it should be I is less than or equal to n, no, ma'am. Like if it is 10.
No, you are telling about this if condition, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
That only I am going to tell now, because I just now told that any number, it will be completely divisible by number itself, right? So here we are avoiding two division. Which are the two division? So you know that 10 divided by 10 will be 0. So why to do that division? Any number if you take, if I take give n number, if I give number as n 9, then you know that 9 will be completely divisible by 1. 9 will be completely divisible by 9. Similarly, if I take 10, 10 will be completely divisible by 1. 10 will be completely divisible by 10. These are the two numbers which will be the factors of a particular number. So when we write the program, I am not taking the value of I up to 10. I'll be taking only up to 9, the number as 10. Can you see over here? If I'm entering the number as 10, I'll be using a variable called I in order to divide that number. So here, in fact, I'll be dividing 10 by 1, 10 by 2, up to 10 by 10. So in order to, if I enter 23, up to where I should be dividing 23 mod 1, 23 mod 2, like that, up to 23 by 23. If I enter 4, I should be dividing 4 by 1, 4 by 2, 4 by, divide means mode only, we will be getting the remainder. So I should be starting from 1, ending to that number, right? Dividing 10 by 1 up to 10 by 10. Understood? Any number, if I enter, I should start dividing that number. In order to find its factors, I should be dividing from 1. So the first number divided by 1, and then that number should be divided. At the end, I'll be dividing it with the same number. So you know that for sure. Here, the value, when we divide the number with 1, it will be 0. This is for sure. Any number you take, it will be equal to 0. So why to divide, like whatever number you take, even if you divide, if you enter the number, same thing if you are entering with 23, you know 23 is a prime number. You know 23 is a prime number. Whatever number you take, and even if it is a prime or a composite number, the first number what you will be dividing will be by 1, and then the last number what you will be dividing will be 23, right? So the others number, here I am not changing, it is all 23. You will be keeping on dividing that number by 1, 2, 3, like that up to that number, right? So you know that whether it is a prime or non-prime, if you divide that number by 1, it will be giving a remainder 0. If you divide that number by the same number, it will be giving you a remainder 0, right? So why to unnecessarily check for that? So we are using the variable I in order to divide. So here each time we are not dividing n by 1, n by 2, like that. We are using a variable for both the sides. Instead of n, I'll be using, instead of 10, I'll be using n. And instead of this 1, 2, 3, I'll be using the variable I, right? So I value will be in a loop. It will be incremented in each loop iteration. First, I will be equal to 1 means in the second iteration, it will be I equal to 2, I equal to 3 until that number. In order to check whether it has reached the number, what checking I'll be using? I'll be checking if I value is less than or equal to n. So now in our case, we are telling that we need not divide the number of whether it is n is I value is less than or equal to n. So here we are telling that as we know, these two cases, it will be completely divisible by 1 and it will be completely divisible by the same number. So what we are doing is, we will not start the division from 1. So I value, we will not start from 1 because we know that all the numbers will be completely divisible by 1. We are avoiding this one division, actually two divisions, one with 1 and one with the same number. Here also, any number if you enter, we will avoid that division by 1 and division by the same number. In order to achieve this, what we are doing is I value, we will be starting. So here we know that if I give I equal to 1, it will start a division from dividing the number from 1. So here what is that coding which we will be using in algorithm and also in the program to find the remainder? N mod I, right? So what is n value? N value is the number which we enter, and I value is the number with which we are going to divide, right? We'll be checking only this statement. Only this statement we need in the program, right? If it is equal to 0, then that number means what? I value will be the factor of n. So here I am going to avoid division by 1. So I will not initialize I equal to 1. I will start with the I equal to 2. Suppose if it is 10, I value should be ranging up to 10, right? So here in each iteration, I will be checking whether I value is reaching equal to 10. So now as I am deciding that I will not divide by the number by the same number, I am avoiding even division or I value equal to that number. Got it? So now I value will be starting from 2 and the last value of I will be 9. So what should be the condition I should be giving in bracket? I value should be not equal to n. It should be less than n. If I enter n as 10, I value will be going from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 7, 8, 9. It will not reach 10. So when you run the program, if you give n equal to 10, then I value will be ranging from, listen here, I value, we are initializing I value from 2. So I value will be incremented in each iteration, I equal to 2, I equal to 3, I equal to 4, up to I equal to 9, because we gave the condition that I should be less than n. What is I? I in this step, it will be 9, and 9 n value is we have entered as 10. So what is I value less than 10? It will be 9. So it will be ranging only from I equal to 2 to I equal to 9. So this will avoid one division operation and one iteration. So this make a huge difference. When you write an algorithm, as I told, we should be writing an algorithm which is saving the time as well as saving the space. That is what determines the efficiency of an algorithm. So in order to make the algorithm efficient, we will reduce 2 divisions. That is, one is division with 1 and one is division with 10. Even if it is a prime or non-prime, we know that this division with 1 and division with the same number will be giving you remainder 0. So what we will be checking is the other numbers. When I am entering n as 10, whether I am getting a remainder 0. If I am getting remainder 0, that means 2 is a factor. Got it? So now I will check whether 10 division divided by 3 equal to 0. You know, it is not equal to 0, right? So this is, we know that it is not a factor. 3 is not a factor, right? So likewise, when we divide and see, the first number, if you divide and see, and if you are getting the remainder 0, you can print that 10 is not a prime number. That means 10 is a composite number. In the first checking itself, if you find a number other than the number and 1 as a factor, you know that 1 and 10 will be the factors of 10. That is for sure. For any number, it is there will be 2 factors. Other than that, we saw that 2 is a factor. 2 is a factor of 10. Listen here. 2 is a factor of 10 means we are giving the message that 10 is not a prime. That means 10 is composite, right? 10 is a composite number. That's it. In one checking itself, we can just you can just print the message. If you find one factor other than 1, other than 1 and 10. So who is leaving in between? Give attendance. Just now I saw it is 10 and then now it is. Okay. So that way, now if you understood the concept, then you can write the program also. We will start the program. Once I will show the algorithm. As I told, we have to, this algorithm is written in order to check whether the number is prime or not. Input expected is n, the number for which we have to check whether it is a prime or not. And output, we are expecting the output. What is the expected output? It will be printing either prime or not prime. In the question, it is given like that, or instead of not prime, you can give composite also. Now, first step is you will be declaring and initializing the variables. N is the variable which is used to accept the number, and I is the variable which is used to do the division or the mode operator with the N. So I value, as I told, we are initializing with the 2. We are not starting with the 1. Is it clear? Then in the next step, we are accepting the number. You all gave attendance, right? Okay. So Harsh in between came and left. Huh? Where is Harsh? Harsh, are you there?
No, ma'am, I'm right here. I didn't leave.
9, so that's it. Okay. So now in this, why you were not there in the first hour? What happened?
Network issues, ma'am. I connected in between.
Okay. So if n equal to 1, so as I told, 1 is neither prime nor composite. So we are checking if n is equal to 1, then we are just messaging that we are not doing any of the mode or no checking. We know that 1 is neither prime nor composite. Otherwise, we are moving on to the next step. As I told, we will be checking in each step whether I value is less than n. There is no error if you are giving equal to n also, but we are wasting one iteration. Got it? If you start with I equal to 1, but the logic we have to change. That's the problem. Here we are checking if any number other than 1 and the same number is a factor of the number entered, then it is not a prime, right? So here, what will be the answer in the chat box? What will be the first checking? If I entered n equal to, I'm going to check whether the number 9 is prime. What will be the checking condition over here? Replace I value and n value in the first iteration. Answer in the chat box. What will be the value of I and n in this condition checking when I entered n equal to 9? Answer in the chat box. Let me see. Yes, correct. So here I value will be 2 and n value will be 9. So it will be checking whether 2 is less than 9. And in this checking, whether it is equal to 0 or not equal to 0, tell me what will happen now. Instead of n, I will be writing 9, right? And then the mode operator, that is our we will be finding the remainder, right? When we divide n by I value is what now? In the first thing, we are having the I value as 2, right? So what is 9 mode 2? Others are not answering. What happened? We know the... Mrudula, you're finding it difficult means I'll take it separately for you. If you are free tomorrow also, I can. So this is nothing related with the previous topics and all. Only thing is this is algorithm, but that also writing of the steps only. That is instructions which we are following, no? Sequential instructions we are writing. Whatever max program we have studied, no? You know how to check a prime number. So that same thing we are writing in a particular sequence of instructions. So how in this step what will happen? We are, instead of n we are entering 9, instead of I it is 2. So we are finding the mode operation, that is we are finding the remainder. How many times it will go? You know that it is 4 times and it is 8 and the remainder is 1. So what will be the answer over here? If n mod I is equal to 0, we know that the remainder is not equal to 0, the remainder is 1. So this condition is not satisfied. Then to which line it will be going? If this is satisfied only, it will be printing number is not prime. If this is not satisfied, it will be going where? It will be going to step 6. So it will be incrementing the I value by 1. Now tell me what will be after step 6. What will be the condition checking over here? Answer in the chat box. After step 6, you know, it is not equal to 0. Remainder we got it as 1. So it will not be printing and it will be moving to the next step. What will be the next checking? Yes, Meenakshi. We know that it is not printing non-prime because I told no, here we are dividing and we are not getting a remainder as 0. If it is equal to 0, then we found another factor of 9. We know that 9 is not completely divisible by 2. Got it? Now, so it will not be printing not a prime. It will move to the next line. That is, it will increment I value. What was the current value of I? I value was 2. Now it will increment I value by 1. That means I value become 3. Now it will go back to step 5 and it will be like checking whether 3 is less than 9. Current value of, what is the value of n? N value is 9, right? Whether it is less than n. So here I value as it is incremented, it will be instead of 2 less than 9, now it will be checking 3 less than 9. Meenakshi has written correctly. It will be checking 3 less than 9. So now we know 3 is less than 9, so it will be going to this line and it will be performing what now? It will be performing, so wherever 9 is, n is there, you will be writing 9, right? So substitute and see 9 mode operator. We are finding a mode with the current value of I. What is the current value of I? Current value of I is 3. So what will happen? Whether it is equal to 0 or not equal to 0, 9 is completely divisible by 3, right? So it will be giving you an answer 0. We know the he was giving the answer because in the next iteration only that will be correct. Okay. So 9 mod 3. 9 mod 3, what will be the remainder? Remainder will be 0. So in this checking, when it is 9, n equal to 9 and I value is 3, it will be giving a remainder 0. Then what it will be printing? It will be printing number is not a prime. Got it? In the first iteration, it will not be printing. You know, I was telling that only. You might be thinking that 9 is not a prime number. In first iteration, it will not print it. Okay. So if you enter a prime number, you can see that it will not be divisible by any of the numbers between 2 and that same number. Because 9 is not a prime number, we found that when 9 mod 3, we found it is having the remainder as 0. Understood, no? We know that also. I thought he might be. Okay. So now we are going to implement the program. Same thing what we have written. It's very simple program. It will be like I'll be using only the while loop because we have studied only while loop. As I told, you can save the program using, so what is that program name? I will make this as program part B 1.c. Okay, so let it be the program 1 in part B. Okay, so here what will be the first step? Those who are new to programming, we will be including the header file, right? stdio.h, and then what will be the next line? If I'm making mistake, you should tell me. Okay, void main while typing. Okay, so after this, what we are going to have, you will be having the declaration part. So in order to accept what are the variables which we may need, in order to roughly you just tell, afterwards we will apply
I and N.
I and N, right? N for accepting the number, I for, you know, we will be ranging the value only like starting from 2. So you can, if you want to initialize also, you can give it over there. Now we are using a printf statement. Enter the number. So those who are new, this printf statement will be printing the statements onto the output screen, and scanf statement will be used to in order to accept an input from the user from the standard keyboard. Now using the keyboard, whatever you enter, it will be accepted in the accepted using into the program using the scanf function. So here, if you have studied in PU that C++, you have C out and all, no? Anyways, so here we will be using the scanf and getting the value of the variable. So if I want to check whether 9 is prime, I'll be entering 9 and that value will be stored in the address location of n. So in order to get the address of that location in memory, we are using the ampersand, and n is the variable name. Got it? After this, what we have to do now? So we will check the algorithm here. What is the next step? So we got declared and initialized, and we got an input. Now we are checking if n equal to 1. That step we have to write, no? So we'll be checking whether if n equal to n, if it is equal to 1, comparison is done using double equal to. If it is equal to 1, then we have to print the number 1 is neither prime or that you can give neither prime or composite, any sentence. So if it is 1, we will catch up here. If it is not 1, what is the other thing which we have to check? As we saw here in the when we wrote the algorithm also, we are checking if I value is less than n. I value is less than n. So we had initialized I value as 2. So now we are going to check before entering into the while loop. We are going to check while I value is less than n. What we are going to do? So whatever we are going to do, we have to write within this bracket, right? If I value is less than 2, what we have to do now? We will be checking whether the if n mode, you can give space in between. Actually, only this compiler is having some issues, I think. Otherwise, we need not give space also. When you divide n, or when we find the mode operation of n by I, if you are getting the remainder as 0, then what you have to print? So if you have more than one line to be executed, if the condition is satisfied, then you have to give the printf, right? So then you have to give the brackets. In this, what you have to do, if n value, if you divide by any number other than 1, what we have to understand, like if it is equal to 0, that means it is a factor. That means it is having more than 2 factors other than 1 and the same number. Then the number is not prime. Right? Prime numbers only, prime numbers should be having only 2 factors, but we saw other than 1. We started the division with 2. We saw that it is having a. So what we have to do now, we have to exit from here, right? If you want the statement to be displayed, then you can always give a get ch. Get ch is for holding the screen until the. So we are printing on the screen, print of the number is not prime. And if you want that screen to be held for, otherwise we will not see, the statement printed. So we are using the get ch function. Got it? Now what happened? If it is having a remainder 0, then it will be exiting the program. Now, if it is not having the remainder 0, we saw that for 9, in the first case, when I was equal to 2 and n equal to 9, we found that 9 mod 2 is not equal to 0. Then in that case, what we did, we incremented the I value. That's it, right? So it will go back into the, it will increment the value of I to 2, I to 3, and again it will go and check while I value is less than. Again it will go and divide. So now the current value of n is 9 and I value is 3. When we divide, we got the remainder is 0. It will just move to this line, print of the number is not prime, get ch, and then it will exit from the program. So this loop will be executed for other numbers, no? Like if it is a number like 23, which is prime number, this will be keeping on iterating until it reaches for 23. If I enter n value is 23, it will be executing until I value is 22. After that, when it is becoming 23 in this increment, it will go and check whether I value is 20, and now it is 23 and n value is 23. So it will be checking whether I value is less than n value. No, then it will come out of this while loop. Then we have to print that only those numbers which are not prime will be completely executing all the iteration of while, right? So when it comes out, it will be printing. What it will be printing? So you know that those numbers which are not prime already had exited from here when they find a factor. So those numbers which are finishing this execution of while loop and coming out of while loop will be obviously a prime number. So you have to print the number is prime. Only this much is the coding. Okay, so this much coding only is there, and if you want to hold the screen, you can use a getch. After a printf, you make sure that one getch is given so that you. What is that? Okay, so now we will be executing the program. There are no errors, so okay. Enter the number. Suppose if I enter 9. It is not, but 1 second, I didn't clear my screen.
Clear screen, ma'am.
So here, now it is done. So no errors, small program. So enter the number. Suppose any of the non-prime numbers, suppose if I enter 8, what will happen? Number is not prime. But when you enter a number like 23 is prime, right? So it is showing prime. So small program. Hope you understood. I have used only while loop. You can implement the same program using any of the looping structures, and you can use flag variable also. But now I am making it simple because some students like they didn't have like those who didn't have or you didn't study computer, no, they will be finding it difficult. C++ or something, any of the programming language. So I didn't give tab spaces and all that, for if a statement, if you are giving without any bracket, if you have only one statement, you need not give any bracket. So for this, if you want to have a bracket also, no problem. Otherwise, only one line, only this line will be executed. So in order to understand, if you want, you can just give a bracket also, that is better. Some will be seeing the length of the program. That's why I'm not putting. So for this if statement, only this line will be executed. Are you getting? I'll just put one time. And for this while, all those which is mentioned inside, it will be getting executed. So if you want to give one tab space also, you can give. Otherwise, one double space also, no problem. Always give indentation, then only we can check the brackets are opened and closed. Are you writing the program, or you can do by yourself? I think, no, this is small program. Anyone, no, like if you are having any doubt, you can ask me. Are you all there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt? You are writing the program or you're written? I will give you time after typing the program, because when I'm typing, if you are seeing, then it will be good, I feel. All wrote the program now, or you should keep one observation book. Okay, you should keep one observation book, the newcomers I am telling, and write the programs and execute in your laptop. If you don't have a laptop, Mrudula had messaged she doesn't have any laptop, but still you can install Google Classroom and access all your notes and all the notes of C program. And also one more thing is Coding C is a app in Android phones. You can install that and type the program. I'm giving smallest program now because I know some of you are typing in the mobile phone. But if you are doing, then only you will learn. Otherwise, it is waste of time. Programs, if you are learning, then theory you need not study also that much. If you are practically doing something, then it will be easy for you. Okay. Hope everyone wrote the program. Are you writing, or newcomers Vinod?
Ma'am,
Are you writing the program?
I am taking screenshot and write afterwards, ma'am.
Writing afterwards, why? No, like now only you can write. I am giving you enough time, no? And now I can move to the next.
Okay, ma'am.
Then otherwise, but never take screenshot. You should write and then execute, because otherwise, what will happen is, my program will be error free. You will be typing like that and you will never get an error. If you get an error, only you will study how to fix that error. Okay. Don't give like even without writing only you should do, but I don't know how far it is. No, all are taking screenshot. At least while you are writing in your book, you will see to that. No, each character when you're just taking a screenshot. I know most of you are doing that, but there is no use only. Other like that error correction. No, that speed should be there. And we will have some contest also like that, you know, debugging. I think most of you are good in C++. Harsh also was telling me, asking me, like if you are good in C++ and C program, any of the programming language, we should have some contest also. Ma'am, Nazra ma'am told they may not be knowing. That's why. I think in your class, Vinod, you and Mrudula, you have studied in PU, computer science, or you are from arts?
No, ma'am. It's the first time, ma'am.
First time, okay.
I've studied, ma'am.
You have studied, Mrudula, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you are saving, you should save with the .c extension. Got it? It's not C++. So some of the header files are not like you have to give header files. I was trying to not to give Conio.h and all, no, and math.h. In C compiler, it is working without that also. But in C++, when you are saving it as C++, it will be showing error. Understood? So try to save it as .c. Then some of those even exit, no, it will be showing error if you are not saving it as .c. Understood? You write somewhere clear screen, get ch, and exit, all these three. So hope you have finished writing the program. So last two lines, you know, the number is prime and get ch. Tell me somebody if I want to give the number, whatever number we entered, no, if you want to give it over here, what I should give? Somebody who knows. If I want the number entered to be displayed over here, suppose I entered 9. I want to show the number 9 is not prime. What I should give over here in the printf statement? Each time I'll be entering different number, right? Suppose I entered it now n as 9. What I should enter here? Harsh, anybody who are, Harsh, you are there? Don't think that I'm asking in order to I just want somebody to answer, that's all. Meenakshi, what I should give over here?
Ma'am, that percentage D comma N, ma'am.
Percentage D, okay. Comma D, comma N should be given after this, okay. Otherwise it will be, it should be given, the variable name should be given as a second argument for printf. Now, when I am printing, what will happen? Instead of this percentage D, which is a format specifier, the value of the variable N will be printed. Likewise, here also, if I entered one number as, don't make mistake. If you didn't understand, leave it. I'm just giving, I know I'm making it so simple because no, these errors. When you enter percentage D, it should not become /D and all. It should be percentage D. Percentage D is a format specifier where the value of the variable N will be replaced. Now, if I run, what will happen? If I enter 23, the number 23 is prime. Got it? So if I'm entering suppose 9, so you know 9 is not prime, right? So it will be showing 9. The number 9 is not prime. Okay, I hope you understood this program. Now it's only 5 minutes, but I will just start with the next program. What is next program? You know, that one is already we had completed that program. That program is our finding the reverse. I had explained in the class what is how to find the reverse of a number, and also how to find the this is for BCA, and how to find the factorial of a number. So it will be good if both of you know the then Mrudula, you should listen to the video classes. And I will today I will put the link in GC. So these are the this will be part A, program number 3. That is, write a C program. Write a program to design a menu-driven program using switch case and find the reverse of a number and factorial of a number. So we have seen as a separate program. We know how to find the reverse of a number. Most of you have executed and sent me reverse of a number. And we have seen a small program like finding the factorial of a number. Both we have seen. Now they are asking us to make it as a single program using the menu driven. Like we studied switch case also. All of you had executed that attendance percentage or some program with the switch case, right? Switch case with I think Monday, Tuesday, that one only we printing. So it is a multi-way decision making statement, which is a built-in multi-way decision making statement. Switch case is a built-in multi-way decision making statement. So using a switch case, we are making it as a menu-driven program. And in first case, we will be giving reverse of a number, and in second case, we will be giving the factorial of the number. So we'll see the steps. If you want to revise, I will just show you what was that small program. If you remember, we had executed algorithm to find the reverse of a number. And afterwards, we had seen the algorithm to find the factorial of a number. I'll just brush up and then move towards the program. So in order to find the reverse of a number, only 3 steps are there. First, we'll be finding the remainder. Then we will be dividing it by 10. Then we will be adding up into a variable called reverse, right? So first we will be accepting the number. So if you are entering the number 123, we know what will be the reverse of 123. We know that, are you there?
321, ma'am.
Right. 321 will be the reverse of this number. In order to just print the reverse of this number, what exactly we have to get? Instead of 123, if I want to print 321, I should first print the last digit of the number. Which is the last digit of the number? 3. First, I should be printing the last digit of the number. Then I should print the last digit of the number. Then I should print the first digit of the number, right? So how to extract the last digit of a number? So I had given the steps. I think the others, those are there in the class, they may be knowing. There are only 3 steps which we have to remember in order to split the, or to get the extract the last digit of number. So if 123 is the number, if you want to extract the last digit of the number, you have to use mode operator. You have to use the mode operator and divide by 10. So if you divide, or if you find the mode operation with the 10, you see what will happen if I divide 123 by 10. Tell me the answer. What will be the answer if I am dividing 123 by 10? Now this will close. You have to join after 5 minutes. If you divide by 10, one time it will go and your remainder. So you will be getting 2 and then you will bring down 3. In 23 it will be going 2 times, and then you will be writing 20.